Tonight we have got a few very related poses that we're going to do to work on some hip mobility and opening up hip flexors. I have been noticing a lot of clients in the studio, excuse me, who sit all day at their desks and have been getting really tight hip flexors because they're always sitting, and then this becomes short. Plus, we as runners and cyclists tend to be hunched over slightly as well, and so the hip flexors get tight. So we're going to work on a little bit of hip mobility with some things that we have done before, sort of. So the first is going to be coming into a low lunge, and we're not going to quite get into a lizard pose, which is bringing our hands both inside. We're going to start with just having our hand on our knee. Well, let's put hands on our knee. And so I've got my left foot forward and both hands. And eventually what I'm going to try to do is come forward on the exhale. Inhale. Notice I've already brought my hand off. And what I'm trying to do is to create a back bend, which is hard to do when I'm twisted. So I'm even just bringing my hand to my hip. Inhale and exhale. So when you're doing this, your primary goal is my right hip and hip flexors, which are the muscles in front. And I am trying to keep a bit of an arch to my back so that I'm really trying to lengthen this. And I'm doing it very slowly. I'm not trying to push anything here. A secondary feeling will be in your left hips, left glute and hamstrings. And again, the key is keeping an arched back, which is why my hand is still on my knee, because that just helps. Hamstring on your left side, and we're really trying to focus on the hip flexor. Let's do a couple more breaths. Again, every Monday we do this, and every Monday the goal is simply to open up our hips and to start recovery, to continue recovery. A lot of times we take Mondays. This is working on our hamstrings. And so the idea is that my right knee is down, my left knee is bent, and you want to keep it bent, you don't want to have it straight. And then I'm just kind of scooching my hips back. Then inhale and come forward. I'm feeling this all in my left hamstring. Another way of doing this is here. This gets a little bit more intense. So I've rotated my back knee, and now my hands are off to the side. And this gets at a little bit more of the inside of my left thigh. I'm just going to come back to the middle. So I have like hands on both sides. It can be a little bit challenging. So if you have blocks or books, like I'm on my tippy fingers here. All right, now I'm going to roll forward, and I'm going to turn sideways, or forward rather. I'm going to have my right hand on the mat, my left hand on my knee, and all we're going to do is rotate just a little bit, and then inhale, push my hips back, exhale, rotate and come forward. And this is like doing a lizard twist, but I'm keeping my hand down because I'm really focusing more on the rotation than worrying about what my upper arm is doing. So I'm just giving myself still a hip movement, but I'm also just doing a little bit of gentle spine twisting. Just making sure my microphone was on. And so on Mondays when we do this, this is 10 to 15 minutes, and that's it. It's truly to aid our recovery and to create some more mobility, create some, not necessarily creating length, but we're trying to help our muscles become more supple in a way. It's not quite that simple. Ooh, this side is much tighter. Remember to inhale and relax. Exhale, come forward. Again, the whole point of that is that the research is showing that static hold stretching doesn't seem to work very well for the purpose of opening up the muscle. And so, since traditional yoga tends to hold poses, we are simply adapting that just a little bit to accommodate, the modern research with the yoga pose. And so I'm still getting at a bit more. It's like, oh, come on, you're okay. We can just get a little farther without stressing them too much by holding that pose. Let's do a couple more. And this is the kind of routine that you can do during the week after your workout. And again, avoiding the static stretching. Okay, we'll do one more breath in and one more breath out. And it's also key, like when you're coming forward, is to not really push yourself as hard as you can. That's not the point. The point is simply to create motion and mobility. All right, now I'm going to bring my foot forward just a little bit. Now I'm going to relax by inhaling, and then exhaling, I'm going to just bring my hips back a little bit so I can feel the tug in my right hamstrings. So we have our yoga flow, yoga class for everyday athletes and normal people too, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and then Thursday evening at 6 p.m. These are also available at my website. The membership you can get for all these videos that we've been doing all winter and fall. If you want to try out one of these classes, the code to give it a shot is Everyday Yoga, and that will get you into your first class for free. All right, now I'm going to come up. Left hand is now on the mat, and my right hand is on my right knee. I'm going to come forward and just rotate my shoulders, dropping my left shoulder and pushing against my knee to rotate. If you are ever on Zwift, I am P, parentheses, simple endurance. I'll be riding tomorrow afternoon. I don't know what I'll be doing, some kind of race. A couple more. And inhale and then exhale. All right. That is it. So this is what we do. It's just a simple movement, trying to open up our hips a little bit, get a little bit of mobility and motion in our hips, and help the recovery process. If you ever have any questions, shoot me an email, Paul W. Paul W. at simplendurancecoaching.com. Check out the website at simplendurancecoaching.com, and we'll see you next week. Take care.